Good morning to everybody. And today is a seated day, so let's go ahead and make sure that we have a chair with a solid seat. It can have a cushion on it, but just make it so it's firm enough to give you good support. And remember, when we are doing sitting, we still want to be able to breathe while we're sitting. So remember, we're going to first just go ahead and slouch and feel that you're on the back of your sit bones. And then I want you to roll forward. Let me just mute everybody here. Hang on a second. How do I do this? I don't think maybe this. Okay, here we go. I mute you all. There we go. Okay. So, hey friend, did you put my picture on a diaphragm?
I can't. I'm trying to fiddle back here. I can't see my own face, and I didn't mean to. So you can change it though. Just say.
I don't know how.
Start video. I'm all confused.
Okay, something just happened. All right, good. Because I want them to be able to see me.
Of course.
So you're slouching on the back of the sit bones, and then we're going to slowly go forward until we get to a place where we are what people call sitting up straight, which is usually on the front of the sit bones with the back hyperextended. And so now I want you to go back and forth between those two places, the back and the front, and notice that there's a transition point. There's a point where you're on the back and then you're on the front. So I want you to find that transition point and stay there so that you're neither on the front nor on the back, that you're in both places evenly. Good. And from there, you should be able to breathe. So once you found that relationship between your pelvis and your spine, where your spine is long above your pelvis, and your sit bones feel like they're now plugged into the seat, and you notice that you can expand into your back. That's good. Now, once you're there, you're going to take your hands and just put your palm up on your knees. And you can have your legs kind of wide. I prefer that your knees are a little bit below your hips. See, there's a little down slope there. That's very helpful. So if your knees are above, see if there's a way that you can get them so that they are below your hips. Okay? It's nice if you can have your feet flat on the floor while you do this, with a 90-degree angle at your knees, or a little bit more than a 90-degree angle, because remember, our thighs are going to slope down like that from the hip to the knee. Okay, super. So now go ahead, palm up, and if you like, go ahead and close your eyes. Go ahead and close your eyes, and find your breath. If you want, you can go ahead and start right in with alternate side breathing if you wish. If that helps you get things more open, you can go ahead and start off alternating, squeezing the arm and leg on the right and squeezing the arm and leg on the left as you inhale and exhale. Or you can start with using both arms and legs at the same time. Whatever helps you drop into a relaxed state better. Sometimes a little more activity at the beginning is helpful. It's kind of like priming the pump so that you can get stuff moving, and then you can relax more easily into just using your thoracic diaphragm. So let's breathe from the bottom of the pelvis up to the top of the chest and empty ourselves from the top of the chest down to the bottom of the pelvis. Remembering that the most important instruction when you practice breathing is to let it be as easy as possible. To let it be relaxed. Let it be something that is softly expansive. Almost as if you're not going to do anything yourself, as if you're just going to allow the universe to breathe through you. And the only muscle that we have to move in order to get your best breath is the thoracic diaphragm. Remember, that is a sheet of muscle and fascia, connective tissue attached to the bottom of the sternum, the bottom of the ribs, the front of the spine, and the front of the lumbar spine all the way down to L3, L4, and the transverse processes at L1. So bring your mind to those borders where you know the diaphragm is attached, and feel the sensations of motion that you are generating there as you inhale and exhale. Feel that breathing produces changing sensations at the borders of the diaphragm, that the sensations there of inhalation are the sensations of contraction. The sensations of exhalation are the sensations of relaxation. Remember, we want to allow the breath to enter into the body around L3, L4. We want to allow it to roll up the spine. We want to feel that wave broaden at L2. We want to feel a bead of breath rolling around both borders, both inferior or lower borders of the chest cavity. Feel a bead of breath rolling around the bottom of the rib cage toward the sternum. Feel how a wave passes directly from the front to the back as well, right through the muscle belly of the diaphragm itself. Feel that wave moving through the entire body, from the back to the front. And notice if breathing is easier on one side of the body than it is on the other. If you find that is the case, that's when it might be a good idea to enter alternate side breathing. So let's just say that you felt more open on the left side of your diaphragm than you do on the right. What I want you to do is pressurize the whole system. Feel the asymmetry. And as you let go, as you exhale, really focus on relaxing the diaphragm on the side of the body that doesn't feel as clear. And when that breath goes all the way to the floor of the pelvis, inhale and engage the right, or whatever side you're using. And when you exhale, really relax and let all of that pressure out of the right side. Feel the dome on the right, or whichever side you're working with, go very, very high. Feel the organs lift up. And when you're ready for your next breath, alternate sides. It's also okay to do some pumps on one side or another, as long as you feel that overall you're getting a balanced amount out on the two sides. So Let me say that again. It's okay if you want to just do one-sided breathing for a few breaths if you feel clogged on that side. Just make sure that at some point in the practice, you balance it out with a similar amount on the other side. But as you do this, either alternate side breathing or doing a couple pumps in a row on alternate sides, see if you can't get the two sides to be more symmetrical in their experience of openness. Remember, let's get the tongue on the roof of the mouth. Let's fit the tongue into the roof of the mouth, like putting a key into a keyhole. They really are made for each other, the tongue, the top of the tongue and the roof of the mouth. So just let them meet each other, let them contact each other and swallow. Create your suction seal. And every time you inhale and that breath comes up the spine, feel it go right up to the top of the diaphragmatic dome, looping around the esophagus. Lassoing the gastroesophageal junction and pulling it down towards your tail, allowing the impulse of inhalation to jump from the diaphragm up to the floor of the mouth. And feel how that lassoing, that line of sensation coming up your spine and lassoing your gastroesophageal junction, feel how that creates a tugging sensation at the front of the throat and under the chin. Let that tugging sensation engage your lower jaw, nudging it back and down. Carrying your tongue back and down. Your tongue, which is sort of suction to the roof of your mouth. Your tongue carries the roof of your mouth back and down as well. And feel how this starts to bring the breath up into your head. The fluctuations in the floor of the mouth, sending the breath right to the very center of the head, the fluctuations in the palate, bringing the breath up the back of the head, neck, and shoulders. And now let's go up to the roof of the nasal passage. Find the roof of the nasal passage. It's just below the level of your eyes, and it's in between your eyes. Feel it get drawn down on inhalation. Feel it lift on exhalation. Feel how that just brightens up your entire corpus callosum when you allow the roof of the nasal passages to participate. The corpus callosum is the network of neurons crossing from the two hemispheres. Feel how motion in the roof of the nasal passage brightens up the entire space between the two hemispheres. And now the cheeks, let them move, hugging the teeth on inhalation, releasing them on exhalation. Let the eardrums move, drawn in on inhalation, puffing back out on exhalation. Feel the temporal lobe cooling off. The temples moving, drawn in on inhalation, puffing back out on exhalation. Feel them moving and cooling off your frontal lobe. Let the eyeballs participate. Let them get drawn in on inhalation. Let them puff back out on exhalation. Let the whole head move like a geodesic dome that can expand in all directions and collapse in all directions. If you want, at this point, you can softly open your eyes, but when you do, make sure that you don't grab anything in particular with your vision. Let your gaze be very peripheral. Let it be very relaxed. Take in the whole room. If you want to keep your eyes closed, then imagine that your eyes were open and you could see everything in the room in front of you, but let your awareness be very peripheral. Don't tunnel in on anything even though your eyes are closed. Then go ahead and just allow your awareness to also appreciate what's behind you. The wall behind you, whatever is behind you. Let your awareness appreciate that too. And if you wish, let your awareness now appreciate everything beyond the walls of the room in which you sit. Allow your awareness to reach for the horizon in all directions. And now bring your awareness, even if your eyes are open, let yourself feel the bony socket of your eyeball. Let yourself feel the borders of the eyeball itself. Find the borders and discriminate between the borders of the eyeball and the cells in the space between the eyeball and the socket walls. Feel for the muscle cells, the fat cells, the nerve cells running through the eye socket, between the eye socket bony wall, and the eyeball itself. Treat this area like a liquid. It will act like a liquid. So be soft with it, and it will be soft. If you're hard with it, it will be hard too. It will be like smacking into quicksand or doing a belly flop. It will be hard if you engage with it in a way that is hard. Engage with it in a way that is soft, and these tissues will be soft. And you'll feel your eyeball as it moves in and out on inhalation and exhalation. You'll feel it gently softening everything in the eye socket and all of the tissue in the eyeball itself. Feel everything soften inside of your eye socket. Now let's bring your awareness to the front of the eyeball. Let's find the borders of the cornea. Find the borders of your cornea. Is there a border that you don't feel is very clear in your awareness? If that's the case, try this. If there's a border that doesn't feel clear, imagine you could take the eyeball and turn it so that it's perpendicular. The front of the eyeball is perpendicular to itself. So if your restriction is in the bottom part of your eyeball, see if your awareness is reaching to the horizon behind you on the right. See if it is reaching there as clearly as it is reaching everywhere else. Try to make your reach for the horizon with your awareness continuous, a continuous line of sensation all the way around. If there's a place where it is broken, try to breathe into it and allow your awareness to reach into that area so that you have a symmetrical experience all the way around. And now let's go below the cornea, the clear connective tissue cap on your eyeball. Let's go deep to that, to the iris. And again, see if you can feel a continuous line of sensation that is your iris, opening and closing the pupil, deciding how much light to let in. If there's any place where you don't feel continuous sensation around your iris, again, if it's on the bottom left, imagine that you could make sure that you're able to reach to the horizon behind you and to the left. If it's more lateral, then you want to reach more out to the sides. If you feel that the restriction at the bottom of the eye is more medial, then you want to reach more toward the back midline. If the restriction is in the front, then you think about the horizon in front of you. My guess is most of us will have restriction in the part of the eye that is behind you. Bottom to top, emptying top to bottom. Feel the breath going all the way down. Feel the drawing sensation in the abdomen going all the way to the floor of the pelvis and lifting it at the end of exhalation. If you haven't started arm and leg breathing yet, let's do some arm and leg breathing. Let's squeeze the arms and legs as we inhale. Let's let everything go as we exhale. Remember, you're going to lift the toes, lift the arches, spread the palms and the fingers, squeeze all the muscles of the extremities, up to and including the armpit and the thigh pit. And let's do some right and left sides. In the next breath, we're going to engage arm and leg on the right side first. Let's do two more like that, noticing how the breath pushes us. First, as we exhale, it draws us over toward the exhaling side. As we inhale at that end range of motion, the breath pushes us further. And then when we exhale, the breath draws us back to the midline. If we keep exhaling, it'll draw us toward the exhaling side. Then fill and go further. Great. Now, what I'd like you all to do is turn your hands over so that your palms are palmed down. I hope everybody can see me from where you're sitting. What we're going to do now is I'm going to pressurize both sides with arms and legs to amplify the experience. Now I'm relaxing the right side, and as I relax the right side, I empty the right side, preferentially to the left. When I get to the floor of my pelvis, I'll fill up over here. And that breath pushed me further. This might be a good hand position for us to use. So just soft, see it's not hyperextended, just soft like this, and just let them hover. You can even let them rest a little bit on your legs, right? So let's all try that together. Basically, we're gonna fill up the whole body. We're gonna depressurize one side of the body all the way to the floor of the pelvis. And then when we get all the way down there, we're gonna engage this side to have that be what pushes us further. Ready? Let's all do the right side first. Of course, use your own breath pace. You don't have to stay on mine, but I'll say mine out loud, and mine might, so don't stay on mine. When you need to inhale and go deeper, you go deeper, okay? Don't worry, you follow your flow, okay? So everybody, we're gonna pressurize both sides. Now, as I relax from the top to the bottom, the top of my head starts to turn first. I feel that water level come all the way down the right side of my spine. And I keep emptying all the way into my hip crease. Then I fill up over here. As I exhale, the collapsing pressure brings me back without me having to engage anything effortfully. Now, I'm going to start from the top of the left side down. And then fill when you get to the bottom of the pelvis. Let the exhale bring you back to midline. Keep exhaling and empty the other side once you've gotten to midline. I'm going to do one more to each side. This turn is happening all the way down the spine to the waist. And then I turn. Last one to the left. And rest your hands. Give yourself a little massage. Little massage. I unmute you all. When you're ready, you can talk to me. You know something I really like to do after stuff like this? I like to slap my foot like this. Feels great. Oh, you big show off. All right, slap your feet.
How about your hands?
Do it all, do it all.
Got to remember to breathe, though.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
I really like the corpus callosum.
I just realized that today, that my whole corpus callosum was getting a little refresher, a little fresh up. There it is. Any questions today? How did the waist turning? How did that go? Did you get that? Were you able to do that? The waist turning? No. Did you get that, David?
Yes, I believe some.
Good, good. Janet, were you able to get the waist turn?
Yeah.
Rana, were you able to get the waist turn?
It was, I manually did it.
Okay, but you're not cranking, right?
No.
Let's look at the waist turn. I'm just gonna try and throw some of these things in. Trying to throw some of these movement things in so that, you know, just at the end, we can start because we're coming up with a new class. We're coming up with a new class, and so maybe we'll be able to, on a regular basis, do like 5-10 minutes of a little bit of movement at the end of these practice sessions, which I plan to continue indefinitely because it's fun for me. So let's look at the waist turn. Sorry, let me back this up. Turn that down. All right, can you see me okay?
Yes.
So what I'm doing is I'm doing the same alternate side breathing where I squeeze the arm and leg on one side and let it go. The other arm and leg. And as I do this, I really want to notice that a larger volume of air comes through one side. Like if I engage the arm and leg on the right side, I get more volume of air on this side. And I use my diaphragm more on this side. We can do that without squeezing our arms and legs. But the arm and leg squeezing sure does help to make it a lot more, a less subtle experience for us, make it a lot more of something we can hang on to. So what I'm trying to do here, let's just try doing this. Turn your head from side to side without paying much attention to your breath. Just turn it side to side and notice what that feels like. And now what I want you to do is I want you to use arm and leg breathing. But when I empty one side, I fill up this side and it's almost like I feel the fluid come right up to the top of my head. And as I empty, I'm going to let the pressure come down. And as the pressure gets less over here, my head will turn that way by itself unless I have a ton of baseline tension, in which case it might not move that much. But what you might find is that it will be easier to turn the head to the side you've emptied than it is to turn your head the other way. Let's try that. Let's fill up the right side and let the pressure out. And then let's try turning our head to the left versus turning our head to the right and just see the difference in the thickness of our tissue experience. So fill up, empty on the right, and then try turning to the left versus turning to the right. Now it's a subtle difference, but do you feel a difference between turning left and right when you have depressurized one side? Did you pressurize one side, Mary? I can't hear you. I can't hear you.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So you depressurize one side, but you can't feel a difference?
No, I'll be honest, I'm confused.
Okay, that's okay. We'll work on it more. We'll work on it more.
Yes, yes.
Is everybody else feeling a little bit of difference between turning right to left? That one
Yes.
side is a little bit thicker? And I know you're like, oh, that's just such a small, subtle difference. But I'm telling you, small, subtle differences make huge differences. To go with the way that nature's making it easy versus the way that nature is not making it easy makes a really big difference. So now that we can feel a difference, and you may even notice that just by doing the right and left side breathing, see if you notice this, Mary. See if you notice, do some more right and left side breathing and notice that your body does shift a little bit from one side to the other, maybe only a millimeter. So as you're doing this, left and right side breathing, you can feel that your body shifts a little bit, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And it will, once you've filled up, if you let more pressure out of one side, your body naturally goes that way. Just a little bit, but that little bit, so much, that little bit helps you overcome inertia. That little bit of ability to sense where the lesser pressure is what helps you decrease the effort of overcoming inertia, which is a big deal. Because yes, it's much harder to start something in motion if it's at rest. If it's already in motion, oh, it's so much easier. So now let's look at the turn. Let's look at the turn. And this is going to be a turn at the waist. So, and you can even put your hands on your hips if you want. That might be helpful, right? So that they're resting somewhere, but a place where you can still engage them. So let's pressurize the whole system. And remember, I'm not trying to turn my hips. I'm going to turn at the waist only. I'm going to turn here and here, right? But I want to make sure I feel that fluid level coming all the way down. And it helps to visualize your bony structure. And imagine you could just feel the water water level sliding down the inside of the bones. It's very nice to do. And so we're going to fill up. We're going to let this come all the way down so we can rotate as far as we can easily without cranking ourselves around. We're going to rotate as far as we can easily. Then we're going to engage the other side, fill it up with breath, and let that pressure party favor us into the rotation, okay? It's also going to party favor us back out of the rotation. Let's just try doing a couple to each side. So hands on the hips, and let's fill everything up. Let's empty the right side. Let's empty the right side. I'm in the cervical spine now, about to go into thoracic. I'm almost at the bottom of my pelvis, the hip crease. And then I inhale to go deeper. And I let the breath push me into that rotation. I go as far as the breath takes me, and then I come back. Good. Can you feel those rotations a little bit better now?
I think so.
No, good. Good. How about you other guys? Rana, are you feeling that ability to use your breath to propel you into a deeper range of motion and
Yes.
also to retrieve you from the extremes?
Yes, I feel it a little better.
Oh, good. And Janet of the lavender.
And purple.
Let's not forget.
Yes, I think fill and empty on the side you're turning to. Fill and empty to come back to center.
Yes.
That's it?
Yes. And that emptying back to center basically empties you back, like, those little things at the top of commercial doors that pull you back, right? Because there's a pressure change that happens in that little tube, or else a spring change, but it doesn't really matter. It's you're extending it out as you open, and then you use the energy that it already has in that potential to just bring you right back home. How nice is that? Okay. Okay. Any other questions about that? Anybody have any other questions, comments, feedback for me?
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. I hope everybody has a beautiful day. It's lovely here. I don't know
Thank you.
where you are, Rana, but it is lovely here. Let me show you. This just, this doesn't happen all that often here. Look at that. Look at that. It's crazy. So nice.